We have a 2003 GMC Yukon. We're going to go through the steps in order to replace the fuel pump. One of the first things we're going to do is we're going to bleed the pressure off the system using the pressure relief valve on our pressure gauge. Be sure and capture this in a safe container. Before we begin the repair, we'll remove the negative battery cable. In order to do a proper fuel pump replacement, we need to clean the inside of the tank, and that will require the removal of the tank. Now we will remove the fuel filler hose and the vent hose. Remove the fuel lines. These are located in the front left corner of the tank, up above the frame. Keep in mind when disconnecting the fuel lines, there may be residual pressure. Be sure and capture any fuel into a safe container. It's not required to remove the carbon canister in order to remove the fuel tank. It does ease the removal and installation of the tank. Now we will remove the tank straps. Partially lower the tank and disconnect the electrical connection, making sure to remove the safety retainer. Depending upon your application, the electrical connection may look different. Now remove the tank from under the vehicle. We always want to clean the outside of the tank to keep any debris from getting into the tank as we remove the module assembly. Now that we've properly cleaned the outside of the tank, we'll remove the fuel lines from the fuel pump module. We'll now remove the fuel line retainer clips and install them back into the lines for ease of installation. Now we'll remove the lock ring by turning it counterclockwise with our non-ferrous brass punch. Keep in mind the locking tab. Be sure to inspect the lock ring to make sure it's not damaged in any way that would hinder the reinstallation of it. We'll now remove the module assembly from the tank. Keep in mind at the bottom of the module is a reservoir that will hold residual fuel. Be sure and capture this into a safe container. At this point we need to drain the remaining fuel into a safe container and then clean the inside of the tank. We want to be sure that the tank is as clean as possible to allow a clean environment for the fuel pump. Now that we've thoroughly cleaned the inside of the tank, we're ready to install the new Airtex fuel pump module. First we'll slide the tank seal up onto the module assembly. On the flange there's a locating tab. Also in the top of the tank is where this locating tab will set. Depending upon your application, you may have a plastic flange. Position the module assembly in the tank, making sure that the tank seal is seated properly. Because of the condition of the old tank lock ring, we've elected to install a new locking ring. Start the locking ring in place, and now we'll take our brass non-ferrous punch and turn the locking ring clockwise into location. Make sure that the locking tab is fully seated into the lock ring. Now we're ready to install our fuel lines. Make sure the fuel line is fully seated into location. Reposition the line into the holding brackets. For ease of installation, we'll remove the fuel line retainer from the line on the vehicle and install it into our line on the tank. Now we can start putting the tank back into the vehicle. With it raised to this level, we can reconnect our electrical connections, making sure to reinstall our safety retainer. Once we have the tank into position, we can reinstall the tank strap. With the tank securely in position, now we can reinstall our carbon canister. You'll note there are 3 fittings on the end of the carbon canister. Each one is a different size. Now we can reconnect our fuel lines. Install our filler tube and our vent tube. With the repair finished, we will now reconnect the negative battery cable. We will want to cycle the key 2 to 3 times in order to recharge the system. We will start the vehicle and monitor fuel pressure, making sure it's within vehicle specifications. To remove the gauge, we'll shut the engine off and bleed the pressure from the system using the pressure relief on the gauge, making sure to capture any fuel in a safe container.